Hello, my name is Celenia Delsol, and I'm an energy psychology practitioner using emotional freedom techniques, or EFT, in my practice. So what is EFT? Well, it's an energy modality. When I say energy, I'm referring to this, our bodies, our minds, our spirits, as an energetic system. How do we know this? Well, we know that there is electrical energy in our system. It's detected in electroencephalograms, which take pictures of our brain, and electrocardiograms, which take pictures of our heart. And what those machines are detecting is an electrical impulse. The other thing that we know is that our brain activity occurs over an electrical path. The space that separates the synapses from each other, this tiny little space, is actually connected electrically. And chances are there are other ways that we are an energy system that we just haven't been able to detect yet technologically, that we don't understand yet, that we don't maybe even know about. But the ancient Chinese have known for centuries and centuries and centuries that this is an energetic system. And that's where the study of acupuncture comes from, and acupressure. The idea behind that is to clear the energy flow in your system so that you can experience optimal health, happiness, success, whatever it is you're trying to achieve. When there are blocks in those energy paths, which are also called meridians, then chances are something not so great is going to show up, like illness or emotional distress or psychological strain. So ideally, if we can address the system on an energetic level, then the consequences of that will be that we'll be feeling better, we'll be functioning better, we'll be thinking better, life will be better. So EFT does that. And the way it does it is there's tapping and there's talking. And the tapping part is the acupressure part. Essentially, you're tapping on specific acupressure points as you talk during the session. And the tapping, one, helps clear the energy, but two, it generates a relaxation response. And primarily when we are experiencing distress, our systems go into a stress response. On the extreme end of the spectrum, it's usually a fight and flight response where our heart rate accelerates, our system is flooded with adrenaline, our blood rushes out to our extremities so that we are prepared for movement because we've detected some sort of a threat in the environment. These days, in our modern culture, our threats are not only external and probably less external, but more internal. And it's kind of the running conversation that we have going on in our own heads that is stressing us out. So the talk in EFT helps us uncover that conversation that's going on inside our heads. And we name what it is that we're telling ourselves. We identify it, we confront it, we focus on it, and we stay in awareness about it as we are tapping. And what this does is it invites us to have a very different experience around this distressor in our lives. Rather than going into a stress response or a fight or flight response, we go into a relaxation response and we begin to have this new experience around this problem. And the result of that is that it actually transforms our life experience. EFT was created by a gentleman by the name of Gary Craig. He was an engineer by training and then became a very successful personal and life coach. And he had studied something called thought field therapy with Dr. Roger Callahan, which was a very intricate, complex system whereby, depending on the symptoms that showed up in the client, then a specific algorithm of tapping points was then prescribed for those specific symptoms. And if you showed up with different symptoms, then a different algorithm would be prescribed. But this was kind of difficult for practitioners to learn. It was a lot of information, it was cumbersome, and it certainly wasn't something that the lay person could do for him or herself without a lot of training. And Gary Craig really believed in this energy work and wanted to make it as accessible as possible. So he put information up on the internet, published some books, was teaching classes. A lot of people had access to the information and started tapping for themselves. And this is certainly something that you can do. You can go on the internet, Google EFT, download the information, and teach yourself how to tap. But some people prefer to work with a facilitator or a practitioner like myself who has a little more experience with the technique. I also have some training in psychology. I have a master's in counseling psychology. And I have a great deal of life experience and a great deal of compassion for people who are struggling and are feeling challenged and want that to shift. So I invite you to watch the rest of my video series. It will give you more information, more specifics, and I look forward to hearing from you. But if I don't, please, I encourage you to look EFT up on the internet. Just Google it. Start doing some reading about it. You will be very happy that you did.